Hello and welcome everybody to Mexico News Network's The Travel Insider. My name is Sofia Rattinger and joining me is financial analyst Mr. Elliot Bullman. Good morning, Elliot. How are you?
Great, Sofia, and you?
Fine, thanks.
Great, and welcome everybody to another edition. We've got great news coming up, but before we start, remember to follow us on all our social networks, Twitter, Google+, and Facebook, and also on our website, mexiconewsnetwork.com for relevant stories and news. Let's start with the show.
Back in April, the Mexico Senate approved the aviation agreement that Mexico and the U.S. agreed to in December. Under the deal, there will be no limits on the number of carriers that can serve any U.S.-Mexico City pair. According to Rodrigo Esponda, the Mexico Tourism Board's regional director for North America, this means there will be much more flexibility to fly in and out of Mexico. There are no restraints, but I'm pretty sure, Elliot, you know something about this, so tell us.
Well, traditionally in airports like LAX and JFK, only 2 Mexican carriers and 2 American carriers could fly the same route. Now, with this agreement, that all changes. It's a big opportunity. The connectivity between Mexico and the US has been growing, and all airlines have been opening new prospects. JetBlue and Southwest continue to expand, and the original carriers like American Airlines, Delta Airlines, and United are all continuously incorporating new flights into Mexico. Vice versa, Mexican carriers are flying into the US, like Interjet, Aeromexico, Viva Aerobus, and Volaris. This agreement will only continue the trend that's been growing.
And of course, following this trend, Aeromexico will make Detroit its 17th U.S. destination following the formal approval last week of its antitrust immune partnership with Delta. Tickets for daily flights beginning April the 2nd between Mexico City and Detroit went on sale last Friday.
Aeromexico's Mexico City-Detroit flight will augment the daily flight Delta already operates on that route. No other airline serves the city pair. In order to receive antitrust immunity from the Department of Transportation, Delta and Aeromexico had to agree to surrender 24 daily departure and landing slots at Mexico City's Benito Juarez Airport, where they currently control nearly half the slots.
They also agreed to divest 4 daily slots at capacity-constrained Kennedy Airport in New York. The slots are to be turned over to low-cost carriers and per the dot. The slot divestitures are to occur over the spring and fall of next year. The joint venture under which Delta and Aeromexico can coordinate on marketing, scheduling, and pricing flights between the U.S. and Mexico can begin once the carriers have completed transfer agreements on the first 14 slot at Benito Juarez and the first 2 slots at Kennedy.
The partnership also applies to domestic and international connections from both countries. And even though the grant of antitrust immunity will last for just 5 years, in a press release back in December, Delta said the regulatory approval is an important milestone in its effort to acquire up to 49% of Aeromexico. Delta currently owns less than 5% of the carrier. So what do you think? This is a pretty major deal.
Yeah, a big investment, a big deal, yes.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest transporter alliance ever in the history of US and Mexican aviation. I think it's going to be worth about $1.5 billion in additional annual revenues. Not too shabby.
No, at all, not at all. And focusing a bit more on Mexican tourism, Mexican customers are known to be the ones who tend to spend most aboard a ship. This is why major cruises companies have unleashed a price war in which domestic tourists benefit most, according to Ruth Leal, director for Latin America Princess Cruises. This price war to attract Mexican tourists has meant that this year the cabin rates have dropped to 40%, and this decline in fares is expected to continue in 2017.
Yeah, that's right. Mexicans are among the best customers of the shipping industry, spending an average of $90 a day on board a ship, which places them above the English, who spend $75 a day, and the Japanese, who spend $73, and of the Americans, who spend an average of $60 a day.
On the offshore competition, Princess Cruises, which belongs to the Carnival Corporation and PLC Consortium, plans to launch a new vessel in 2017 of more than 50,000 tons. The investment will be greater than $768 million.
Let's remember that the company has innovated with itineraries in French Polynesia, the Baltic region, Hawaii, Greek islands, and South America, among others. And now, this shipping company is betting on the Mexican market with short trips that go from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to the Caribbean and from Los Angeles to the Mexican Riviera.
That's right, these trips are very much required by Mexican companies that hold events and conventions on board, and they bring a good economic spiel. The Port Authority of Quintana Roo reported that Cozumel, where many boats touched land, will close with more than 3.5 million tourists who arrived to this island via cruise.
Only in the last week of this year, this municipality received the visit of 38 of the 43 cruises that arrived at the state. The rest did their thing in Mahahual. That's expected to have generated an economic spill of $12.8 million. So it's great news all in all for the cruise industry, right?
Yeah, and I didn't know that we are the best spending money in cruises.
I don't doubt it. I mean, the Mexicans love to have a good time on vacation, right?
Yeah, and you were saying about the amounts that the Mexicans spend, like
$90.
Yeah, $90 a night. I mean, everybody would think that the Japanese are the people that spend more in our cruises.
I mean, I think what happens, of course, is, with the setup with the cruise, of course, there's the spas, there's all the different a la carte meals. I mean, I think the Mexican tourist likes the experience. I think they go more experiential, and they certainly love the idea of, getting off the boat and going onshore and doing all the excursions too, right?
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Definitely. A new year means new beginnings and new destinations that are bubbling to the surface. Here are a few cities to keep on your radar in 2017. Starting with Acapulco. For years, a muddied reputation has left Acapulco sadly off the tourist map for most travelers. But the city has been working tirelessly to bring back the solid Acapulco name. And 2017 will be no different, as millions of dollars are being invested into the destination.
Earlier this year, members of the Committee for Acapulco Connectivity met with executives from Aeroméxico, Aeromar, TAR, Interjet and Volaris to discuss adding routes and increasing awareness of existing service to the city. Aeroméxico has already committed to promoting international connections to Acapulco through Mexico City. Through April the 3rd, United Airlines will fly its Acapulco route daily from Houston as well.
In this vein, work on the new passenger terminal at Acapulco's General Juan Alvarez Airport is underway. The terminal will have more than 194,000 square feet of space, which will double its current facilities. The design provides for modern amenities, technology, and services and represents an investment of nearly $30 million, which is the capacity for 1.3 million passengers a year.
Wow, 300 miles down the coast from Acapulco is a west coast gem of a beach town, Huatulco, in the southern state of Oaxaca. Consists of 36 beaches spread over 9 bays, only 2 of which are developed. Currently in Huatulco, there's around 3,000 hotel rooms and plenty of projects in the pipeline. Charisma Hotels and Resorts is planning to break ground early next year on the El Dorado Huatulco. Already in existence are a Secrets Resort and a renovated Dreams property.
And finally, one of Mexico's most beautiful and cultural colonial cities, Puebla, is often glossed over for shinier names like San Miguel de Allende. But this city, just outside Mexico City, is its own playground for history and culture lovers. Since in 1987, UNESCO declared Puebla's downtown a World Heritage Site, as it is home to more than 2,600 historic sites and 365 churches.
Imagine that. In 2017, Rosewood Pueblo will open its doors to be the 4th Rosewood property in Mexico. The hotel will be near the city's main Zócalo, which is Puebla's cultural, religious, and political center. Rosewood Pueblo will be housed in a collection of buildings from different eras, all surrounding a courtyard. It will be made up of 78 guest rooms and suites, a restaurant, the Lavaderos de Almoloya bar, and a scent spa with 4 private treatment rooms. Within the courtyard is a 300-year-old chapel which can be used by guests as a wedding venue. All beautiful places receiving a nice investment for 2017.
Yeah, and it says that Puebla has 365 churches, and it's a church for every day of the year, for each day of the year.
It's absolutely beautiful, Puebla.
Yeah, you can visit a church every day. It's going to be different.
Absolutely. I think for foreign travelers, it's one of the meccas in Mexico and pretty much undiscovered by a lot of people.
Yes.
They'll be beautifully surprised, right?
Yes. Let's visit Puebla. And of course, thank you for staying with us here in the Travel Insider. My name is Sofia Rattinger.
And I'm Elliot Bullman. Remember to follow us on our social media networks and check us out daily on MexicoNewsNetwork.com for relevant stories and news. Until next time.